All right, one more time for the people in the back. Halloween is not pagan. Yeah, what's going on, party people in the place to be? I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's popping? Happy Wednesday to each and every one in the building. Of course, we got to say what's up to the most illustrious chat that you will find on the interwebs. We got my main man Walsh in the building. We got that one Beats, KJ, Tyler Lott, of course, my main man CMB, the ambassadors in the building. And if you have not yet already, please, please, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell that friend that it's him again. And if you like how it goes down with BK, you can show your love via PayPal. Or if you like to be a monthly supporter of BK, you can become a patron where you get an assortment of teaching aids that help you in your personal Bible study. All right, we got Frugal Survivor, David Collins. You know what I mean? Yes, yes, please, please share the link. So, as we all know, next week is October. We're already in October, guys. I don't know about you, but this is going super fast. Before you know it, we're gonna say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Well, some of us will be saying that. Some of us will say heretic when we say that, but uh, but so it's October coming up, and of course, we have to prepare for the onslaught of Halloween is pagan memes in our various timelines. And I've shared a few things about this last year, and I wanted to continue to get into it to show that it's just historically it's not accurate to say that. And one of the things I want to tackle today is the critique that somehow Halloween derives from a druid celebration by the name of Shawin or Shawin. So we're gonna compare and contrast both of these days, and we're gonna see if there's any similarities between the two. All right. So, but before we got to start with the Feast of All Saints. Right. This is from CatholicStraightAnswers.com. What are the origins of All Saints Day and All Souls Day? Are these linked to paganism and Halloween? All right. So let us address the Feast of All Saints. The exact origins of this celebration are uncertain, although after the legalization of Christianity in 313, a common commemoration of the saints, especially the martyrs, appeared in various areas throughout the church. For instance, in the East, the city of Edessa celebrated this feast on May 13th, the Syrians on the Friday after Easter, and the city of Antioch on the first Sunday after Pentecost. Both St. Ephraim and St. John Chrysostom attest to this feast day in their preaching. Right? Notice the dates. We got third century, we got fourth century, we got fifth century, attest to the feast day in their preaching. In the West, a commemoration for all the saints also was celebrated on the first Sunday after Pentecost. The primary reason for establishing a common feast day was because of the desire to honor the great number of martyrs, especially during the persecution of the Emperor Diocletian, the worst and most extensive of the persecutions. Quite simply, there were not enough days of the year for a feast day for each martyr, and many of them died in groups, which is crazy, right? A common feast day for all saints, therefore, seemed most appropriate. In 609, the Emperor Phocas gave the Pantheon in Rome to Pope Boniface, I think that's the sixth, who rededicated on May 13th under the title Saint Maria ad Saint Mary and all martyrs. Whether the Holy Father purposely chose May 13th because of the date of the popular celebration already established in the East, or whether this was just a happy coincidence is open to debate. So as you see, as early as 313, believers were commemorating the lives of slain Christians. Right? This is how it started. Right? This whole idea of All Saints Day is to commemorate, to remember fallen Christians who died because of their faith. Okay? This is what this day is about. Now, whether or not Christians should do this, that's a different argument. Okay? I'm not saying we should continue doing this. All I'm saying is what the day entails. Okay? All right. Yeah, Wash. It's about that time, huh? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And we got to keep debunking it. That's what we do around here, right? So the designation of November 1st as the Feast of All Saints occurred over time. Pope Gregory III dedicated an oratory in the original St. Peter's Basilica in honor of all the saints on November 1st, at least according to some accounts. And this date then became the official date for the celebration of the Feast of All Saints in Rome. Saint Bede, now we're going to the 8th century, recorded the celebration of All Saints' Day on November 1st in England, and such a celebration also existed in Salzburg, Austria. A duel of Venin recounted how Pope Gregory asked King Louis the Pious to proclaim November 1st as All Saints' Day throughout the Holy Roman Empire. Sacramentaries of the 9th and 10th centuries also placed the Feast of All Saints on the liturgical calendar on November 1st. So we see the evolution and the progression of this feast day, right? And again, as early as 4th century, believers were commemorating the death of Christians. And, as the church grew, they needed to consolidate a day for everyone because you couldn't have a day for each saint that got killed because they killed so many of us, right? But again, this is what All Hallows Eve or All Saints Day, this is what this day is about. Okay? So now we're going to get into November Eve beliefs and customs in Irish life and literature by Helen Sewell, source the Journal of American Folklore. Thus, according to Kevin Danaher, the modern practices of a pre-Christian origin, a theory confirmed by evidence in Irish literary sources of the 8th through 16th centuries, and the degree to which these sources emphasize the importance of this festival. We're now going to start talking about Samhain, all right? And this is a festival that's pre-Christian, right? Christians weren't around when this holiday was occurring. And the literary sources are 8th through 16th centuries. Now remember, Christians were already commemorating the death of the martyrs as early as 4th century. Now, this doesn't mean that this other belief, this not belief, but this day, Samhain, wasn't celebrated before the 8th century, but the written sources are 8th through 16th centuries. Right. So now we're going to look at the Stations of the Sun, a history of the ritual year of in Britain by Ronald Hutton. It says Shamwan or Samhain, November 1st, was the major festival which marked the opening of winter in early medieval Ireland. It is sometimes spelled Samhain or Samhain, although the pronunciation was the same. In Tormark Empire, it is the first of the 4 quarter days mentioned by the heroine Emer, Samhain or Samhain, when the summer goes to its rest. To the writer of this text, probably working in the 10th century, it was therefore the opposite to the time of Beltane, being the period at which the livestock had been gathered in from the summer pastures and the cold and the confined season was setting in for human and farm animal. The cereal harvest would likewise have long been completed, and the time of warfare and of trading was at end. It was therefore an ideal moment for the convention of the year's most important tribal assemblies, and indeed the feast of Samhain, at which local kings gathered their people, is a favorite setting for early Irish tales. Right? So Samhain, they get together to tell these tales. What kind of tales you think they talked about? I'm glad you asked. Right? So non-Christian worship at Samhain is described in several sources. One pagan king, Tiger Namas, and his followers assembled each year at Samhain Eve or November Eve on the plain of prostrations to pay homage to the great god Krum, Kurok, and the 12 subordinate gods whose images stood around him. They were so energetic in their devotions that they crushed their foreheads and knees and noses and elbows, and 10,300 perish. Let me ask you a question. Does this sound like All Saints Day to you? Anybody in the chat? Is this just like commemorating the deaths of slain Christians? What do you guys think? I'm going to sip some water while I wait to see what happens in the chats. Right? Doesn't look like it's the same, is it, huh? Well, let's continue. Another legend states that an early tribe of gods or men, the Fomorians, exacted a yearly tribute at Samhain from the more recent settlers, the Numidians. This tribute consisted of two-thirds of their children born within the year and two-thirds of their year's corn and milk. So, question: does any of this occur during All Saints Day? Does it occur? Do the church ask for two-thirds of your children and two-thirds of your corn and milk? 'Cause this is what they're saying that this occurs in Shamwin, and they're saying that Halloween comes from this. This doesn't sound like All Saints Day. These are only samples of the many events that took place at these feasts. Games were played and mock battles were fought. Boasting heroes exhibited the tongues of their slain enemies. They showed the tongues of their slain enemies. Sounds like Old Saints Day to you? The great Kukulkan once threw a spear into the wing of one of a pair of birds, which proved to be a fairy woman. A deep sickness resulted, and the only antidote was descent on the following Semwin into the fairy world with Fond, who cured him by her magic. Does this sound like All Saints Day to you? I mean, we're comparing and contrasting here, right? In Segli Conclade, which exists in the 12th century version, it is stated that the face of the Yulid lasted 3 days before Samhain and 3 days after Samhain and Samhain itself. They would gather at Mag Metahermni, and during these 7 days there will be nothing but meetings and games and amusements and entertainments, eating and feasting. These activities, together with a great deal of boasting and brawling, are precisely those portrayals at the feast in this and other accounts of it. No doubt there were religious observances as well, but none of the tales ever betrays any. And a text like Sanas Komaic, which is also so informative on Beltran, furnishes nothing for the winter festival. Indeed, the only such reference is in the work of the thoroughly unreliable 17th century Irish antiquary Geoffrey Keating. So the only thing we get close to any kind of connection is from an unreliable source in the 17th century. Remember, believers were commemorating the saints that were slain as early as 313. Right? Jeffrey Keating, who states that the Druids of Ireland used to assemble on the hill of Takata on the night of Samhain and kindle a sacred fire. From this, every householder in the country relit his own domestic fire, which has been extinguished that night. Now, this might sound familiar to a lot of you guys, because they'll say that this right here is the actual origin of Halloween, right? And he states this Jeffrey Keating, right? But his source is unknown, and the story implies an extremely unlikely degree of religious and political centralization in pagan Ireland. It may be that it is a mistaken transference of the custom of Beltane. When Keating's story is put aside, a considerable suspicion arises that the rites of Samhain do not feature in medieval Irish literature simply because by the time that it was written, centuries after Christianization, the authors did not know what they had been. So these ideas of these druid sacrifices and all this, witchery going around, these things were not written until after Christianization happened to Ireland. So this idea of the druids after the fact is written. Heavy Irish immigration into the Scottish Highlands and Isles in the early Middle Ages carried the name Samhain there, and local variations. But to the Welsh, the day was Calan Caif, the first day of winter, and the night before was termed Nos Galan Gaea, Winter's Eve. Perhaps significantly, the earliest Welsh literature attributes no arcane significance to these dates, in sharp contrast to May Eve, and describes no gatherings then, in sharp contrast to New Year. It must be concluded, therefore, that the medieval records furnish no evidence that the 1st of November was a major pan Celtic festival and none of religious ceremonies, even where it was observed. So there's just a lack of evidence all the way around. What seems to be insoluble in the crucial problem of whether the 1st of November was once the only date observed, or whether it had always run side by side with January, being used by different sorts of reckoning. Reed's theory was further popularized by the Cambridge scholar Sir James Fraser. At times, the latter did admit that the evidence for it was inconclusive. So this scholar who would use this that made up, not made up, but concurred with this idea of the Druid origins, right? Had to also admit there's no evidence for that at all. But at others, he threw this caution overboard and employed to it support an idea of his own that someone had been the pagan Celtic feast of the dead. He reached this belief by a simple process of auguring back from a fact that 1st and 2nd November had been dedicated to the purpose by the medieval Christian church, from which it could be surmised that this had been a Christianization of a pre-existing festival. So this is where we get this idea from. This is where all the memes come from this guy. So he's saying that this Druid festival, this pagan Celtic festival, must have been retained by the Christian church. But he admitted by implication that there was in fact no actual record of such a festival. Let me say it again. He admitted by implication that there was in fact no actual record of such a festival. Okay, so let's just stop here for a second, right? So he has the concept of this Druid pagan festival, and he claims that this pagan festival, though we don't have a lot of, you know, actual primary evidence, somehow it predated the Christian church, and that the Christian church took this and made it its own. Okay. But then he turns around and says, but I don't have any evidence of that to begin with. So So what are we doing here? But everybody ran with this. But the same man admit by implication there's no fact, no actual record of such a festival that he claims that the Christians stole this from. So, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Christians were celebrating and mm, giving memorials to slain Christians since the fourth century. That's what All Hallows Eve, All Saints Day. That's what this is about. Samhain, as you see, crazy. Different tales of what occurred. You know, warriors showing the severed tongues of their enemies. Then you got this guy saying that, oh well, yeah, Christianity, it took Halloween from the Druids, but I don't really got any evidence of that though. But it happened, really? Yeah, I believe that. That's where it comes from. Halloween comes from this ancient pagan Celtic Druid festival. But yeah, I don't have any proof of that though. But I think so, and we've been running with this since the 17th century. There's no proof, guys. It's not the same, and there's no proof of any ancient Druid, pagan Celtic festival that or was the origin of the commemoration of fallen Christians. It's just not there. It's not in the record. It's not in history. You're not gonna find it. What you're gonna find is homeboy over here making this idea with zero evidence. That's what you're gonna find. And instead of looking at the actual history, people ran with this guy's notion. That's why it's so important for us to look at history. Because just because someone says something doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So and again, this is not me advocating for Halloween. I don't me and my wife we don't celebrate Halloween. But if my brothers and sisters in Christ dress up their kids like Spider-Man and a ballerina, their daughter is a ballerina, and they go out and get candies from their neighbors, great, no problem, no sin, no foul, no harm, you know, because I understand the intent. They want to, they want to dress up like their favorite cartoon character and get candy. We all like candy. You know what I mean? It's like that's not a sin, So, and that's for those who critique Christianity, and this is for believers as well, because some of us tend to be a little legalistic, you know. But listen, if you don't want to follow or celebrate Halloween, then don't do it. And your brothers and sisters in the faith need to be, understanding of that. You know what I mean? So if you don't like it, then we won't talk about it around you. The kids won't come to your door for candy. You know, so because we got to respect that too, right? If a brother and sister in Christ has an issue with the day, we need to respect that. We don't need to be Halloween apologists and try to convert people to celebrate the day. That's not what this is about. What this is about is not condemning your brothers and sisters if they do celebrate the day. That's all. This is what this is about. This is not me saying be pro Halloween. It's me saying don't condemn your brothers and sisters if they go out and get candy dressed up looking like Captain America. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know, real quick in the chat, 'cause I know we all are little kids at heart. What was your favorite candy to get when you went trick or treating? What are some of your favorite candies, or just candies in general? What are some of your favorite candies? I saw Remy here say, you're making me want to go to the grocery store and stock up on candy. So, what kind of candies did you guys like to get? And what were some of the nasty candies that you didn't want to get? Oh, wait a minute. Twizzlers. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Candy corn is trash. I have to agree. You are a prophet. Candy corn is definitely trash. Sugar wax is not of the Lord at all. So me and Michelle will die on that hill. Reese peanut butter cups, orange flavored suckers. Oh yeah, Twizzlers. Yeah, Twizzlers. I don't know so much about the orange flavored suckers. You mean like lollipops? I guess that's all right. But I'm with you with the Reese peanut butter cups though. Like I hated candy corn. Yeah, man. Oh, Kit Kat bars. Okay. M&Ms. I like the peanuts though. Tootsie Rolls and candy corn. I don't care what they hate. I respect it. I respect it. Mini chocolate bars like, or I think mint Oreo, right? Jersey milk, caramel milk, and oh Henry. Wow, Remy, you are dating yourself, bro. You said oh Henry? Man, I hated licorice the most. I licorice was fine. I didn't like the black licorice. That was the worst. Ah, 100 grand. You are also dating yourself, sir. Old school candies right there. I'm subscribing over your stats and candy card. Oh man, see, this is how the church gets divided. You see this? This is how it starts. This is how it starts. Listen, man. Typical. Listen, if you enjoy your sugar wax, that's we can still be brothers. You know what I mean? Or sisters. I don't know if you're a man or woman, typical, but we can still get along. You know, candy corn is pagan. Ah man, I don't think it's pagan. I don't like it, but it's not pagan. Sugar wax. That's all it is. It's sugar and wax. I mean, it's a weird combo. That's what I meant. Black liquor. Yeah, man, that black licorice is the like. Does anyone even like it? Like, why do they even make it? There's some group somewhere that really enjoy that. That's the worst, fam. That's the worst. No, it's 510. They gave those Popeye candy. Dad, you taking me back, Remy? The candy cigarettes. Dad, I wonder if they still sell those. I don't know if that's even legal anymore. Or sell that to kids, candy cigarettes. Wow, I remember those joints. Turtles only because my mom only brought it for her. My mother, yeah, she's one of the few. She is one of the few because that right there is bleh. Some group of pagans like black. Yeah, the druids, the fake druids. They burn black licorice on November 1st. So, man, yeah, man. For me, it was Little Debbie. It's like the little fudge brownies. Remember those? Those were pretty good. The penny fishes, the little jellyfish. Those were good. Candy cigs were the bowling alley treat for my. Yeah, man. And what, do they still sell those? I remember those candy. Yeah. What else? Of course, now laters. That's like a hood staple right there. Chickle sticks. I don't know if you guys remember what chickle sticks are. I'm definitely dating myself here. Alexander the Grape. Uh, oh, that's right. A little pack. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They passed out Little Debbie. Yeah, you need Little Debbie. Those little fat fudge brownies. Yeah, We had food bars, and I love that for us. Lemon heads, facts. Wow, yeah, man, those were really good. Oh man, I haven't had that in woo minute, for real, for real. So, but yeah, guys, once again, Christians have been commemorating the fallen Christians who got killed because they love Jesus since the fourth century. And Chamwin were doing some crazy stuff that had nothing to do with All Saints. And the one dude that tried to put a Druid festival into All Saints Day also said, I can't prove that though. So there's that. All right. So the next time somebody in the timeline hits you with the Halloween is pagan, give them this video. All right. And again, not advocating for Halloween. I am advocating to love our brothers and sisters if they do Halloween. All right. So with that being said, I'm out. Peace.